Welcome to A2thaShow. It is me, A2thaMo, your host of this fine program on whatever day it is you're watching it. It's been a while since I've done one solo by myself. I felt like I was picking up pretty good momentum, or just getting used to like kind of doing the solo thing, and then I done 3 in a row without it, and now I'm back to square one where I'm like, oh fuck, how do I do it without someone sitting here and me talking to them? So we'll see what happens. But also, we got to quicken these up. I started this podcast after a hiatus from my last one, thinking, we're getting these down to an hour. No one needs to hear us ramble on forever. And then I just ramble on forever, just the struggles. So we'll try to get right to it. Shout out Skinny, of course, being on the last 2 episodes, being a normal one and the NBA one. Go check those out if you missed them. I will say watching TikToks with Skinny at the end of his episodes he's on is some of my favorite things to do. Like, I don't know if it's good content. Y'all let me know out there. But like, I laughed so hard at that haunted house lady that like my head back here, I don't know where to explain, like it hurt. It was hurting when I was done recording from laughing so hard. And I told him, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna go to sleep. My head is killing me, but it was worth it. It was like, I don't release serotonin enough. My brain was like, painful. Anyway, so yeah, I just recommend it. But again, some people might not like watching people watch TikToks. I love it. All right, let's see. First on my list here, I don't remember if I talked about Trump tearing down the White House or not. It's been a minute since I recorded and recorded a lot of different people, so who knows. But it seems like a pretty big deal. It is and it isn't, I guess. I'm sure the White House has been renovated or added to over the years. I don't really know, to be honest. I haven't looked into this at all. But basically, the premise is Trump, he kept talking about how he's going to build this ballroom, which is gay as fuck. I mean, I hate to use the language. I know y'all more likely than I wouldn't like that. But like, what fucking straight man's like, we're going to have a ballroom. It's going to be the greatest ballroom. It's very odd. It's very odd. And now people are talking to like the Nazis had a ballroom over a bunker. Or is this because Trump's trying to make his own Nazi bunker? I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, he claimed, this ballroom was all going to be donated, all the money. And, the people would be building this ballroom for the president and the White House, and that the White House itself wouldn't be touched. It wouldn't even be connected. It would be right next to it, as was the claim originally. And then very quickly, it's happened like the whole east wing of the White House has been demolished, as they are now going to add this ballroom, which is, I think, bigger than all of the other square footage of the rest of the White House combined. So it is a big project. I think my favorite part of it was, I want to leave Facebook, but I can't, because that's the real world people I know. And so I just get to see a lot of like Southern conservative talking points or ideas, what people think and stuff. And I have liberal friends as well. But, a lot of people were like, they're not even tearing down the East Wing. And then the next day it's like, all it was this little one wall. It's nothing. And then like once eventually it was like the whole thing was torn down. It's like, who cares? It's not a big, like they just moved the goal post, or whatever you want to think of it. Like it just always changes of like, that's not even happening. Well, it is, but it's not a big deal. Okay, it's a big deal, but it's better this way. Like there's like a certain pattern. And then the left have it as well, but theirs is more of like through fear mongering. Theirs isn't through like actions. It's just like use this thing to get people riled up, but let's do nothing. So yeah, that was a Trump thing. Another random Trump thing I've really enjoyed. Maybe not really, but I mentioned a couple weeks ago, and Soko called it how every president in my adult lifetime has been called the Antichrist at some time. But it is interesting that not more people are into the Trump as the Antichrist, because he seems to fit like all these different, things they talk about, revelations, like the man who can talk his way out of whatever, however it was pitched when I was a kid, the Antichrist. And then I saw Bryce Mitchell this week, who is the UFC fighter, who he had a few viral moments where he said like some pro-Trump type things that people got all mad about. I don't remember what they all were, but there was a few that were like, some thought over the line or whatever. And anyway, recently his most viral clip is that he is actually against Trump because Trump is the Antichrist. And he references a part of Revelations, which, if I have to be honest, Revelations is about all I read. Like whenever I was a churchy kid, and you go to church and they'd be like, all right, go off and read the Bible. I only read Revelations. I was like, I want to know about the post-apocalyptic world. It was like a fantasy part of the Bible. And so I guess a lot of it's fantasy, but y'all know what I mean. And so I used to get into Revelations a lot. I don't remember this, but he's claiming there's a part in there that's like the Antichrist will have a head wound and will heal right in front of your eyes, and he's like quoting this thing. And I'm like, I don't know if that's true, but if it is, that's great. And I loved there was like when Trump first got into office, there was like a sect of super religious people that were like, this is a sign of the end times, because they said trumpets would signal the end sign. They'd be like, Trump, Pence, get it, trumpets. And I love this idea that like whoever wrote the Bible forever ago was like, hey, there's this language doesn't even exist, or we don't know it, I guess, because it was Old English existed, but it's like, and we're going to do a word pun with people's names so that when this translates through all the languages, it's going to hit. You know, I love the people that are really into that. That was pretty good. All right. I keep seeing like lights flash. So it's like my wife might be home at any moment and my dog's going to sprint out of this room, and then it's going to cause mayhem. So be on the lookout for that if you're watching. Let's see, kind of stick with politics. A lot of gerrymandering of maps was being talked about recently. People don't know what gerrymandering is. It is, and why would you? It's a weird fucking word, but it's like when they take a map of a state or a district or whatever, and they like redraw the lines of like, this is the voting district. Where like, I think we would all agree it would make sense if things were like just, this square, this square, this square. But if you look at voting maps, it's like weird oblong, peninsula looking things going in and grabbing these few houses from here and this from there. And what happens is different states, whoever they're ran by, if it's a Republican, then they gerrymander for Republicans in the future. If it's a Democrat, they gerrymander for Democrats in the future. But they basically make it where like their party will win more districts because of the way the map's drawn, So anyway, gerrymandering maps is a new political thing. And then what's, I think most people can look at it and be like, yeah, this is bad. People shouldn't do it. But instead, it's like, if you're going to do it in California, we're going to do it in Texas. It's like everyone wants to go tit for tat with it. It's like, that is the world we're in. There used to be this idea like, oh, you don't want to do this one thing with political power because then the other side can. But now it's like, yeah, we'll just both do it. The whole thing is kind of falling apart a little bit. And then I just keep glancing down to more political things. I really do think the thing that makes me so mad about the government, and I guess it really sticks out in this government shutdown because the SNAP and EBT benefits and all that stuff. I think we talked about it last week with Skinny. Word is they're about to be cut off or something like that. And it just seems like at the end of the day, the politicians, they only care about corporations. And you can also say the mega elite rich people, but those people are corporate. I mean, like they own the corporations and whatever. But it's like they really only do stuff to make sure corporations don't go out of business or make more money or more profitable, or certain countries, of course, we look out for. That's pretty obvious. But it's like literally no concern goes into like what would help the American citizen. It's like these people are starving. Should we do something to help them? Or should we make sure the food companies keep maximizing their profits? And they'll be like, maximize the profits it is, as long as Wall Street's fine, America's fine. Which I guess in some weird way, like political power, that is true. But you can only do that, it feels like, for so long, And it plays into this whole, if you're in conspiracy world, you've been hearing about it forever, of like, the America made a deal with the Federal Reserve in the 1930s, and that every citizen that's born there's giving a social security number because the Federal Reserve now owns you and your labor. And so that's why they don't care about you and your rights. And there's a part like, are we in this weird like world where the rest of the country is staring at us and like, oh, those fucking losers, they don't even know because we got real freedom. And then you're like, but what do they got in these other countries? So America's still number one. It sucks, definitely. But the propaganda worked where I'm like, well, I can't go to another country and not be in America. It was crazy. We got barbecue and shit. Sure, we have other stuff, but barbecue for sure. And, if you go to college, or you don't have to go to college, but when I was in college, I met a lot of foreign students who were like, no, America's the shit. And I just believed them. I was like, I believe you, man. I don't even have to go check to see if that's the thing. Seeing some other countries, a big hurricane hit Jamaica. I put soon, but I think it already happened when I'm recording this. And before it happened, they acted like it was going to be like the most devastating hurricane of all time. And I saw a lot of coverage pre-hurricane hitting. I saw one story about it after it hit. So I don't know if it like wasn't that big of a deal or if it's just people don't care because it's Jamaica, and they're like, well, is that America? No. Jamaica is its own country. I don't think it's like a territory. It used to be a territory of France, maybe back in the day. but I don't think it is anymore. But yeah, sucks for Jamaica. Of course, everyone here, all we think about Jamaica is the weed and the music. And I've known a few people that have gone to Jamaican resorts and they're like, don't trust the weed they sell to white people in Jamaica. So that makes me not even want to go. It's like they're going to give you the weed that gives you the shits. You're like, well, I don't want to do that. So it's also not on my list. Which I'm not a beach guy. This body's not made for the beach. At least it never has been. Never has been. Let's see if I have anything else that somewhat can tie to any of these political things here. I mean, something that's not political necessarily, but the Sonya Massey case happened. I saw my parents last weekend, and my mom was asking me about it. And I knew something of it, but I didn't really know the details. Because I said something, she's like, that's not all what happened. I was like, all right, well, what's up? And then right after she told me, I saw a video explaining it all. But yeah, this woman, Sonya Massey, she was in her apartment. And she called the cops, I believe, for something. The cops show up, and then they start like harassing her. I could be wrong on that. They could have been called on her. I don't think it's necessarily important for this matter, but so you see the body cam footage. There's two cops in this woman's apartment, and she's boiling a pot of water. That's how I think most people know this. And from the body cam footage, it really feels like the cop he's like expecting trouble. Like he goes to 100 real quick, and he just like shoots this woman. And I think when it happened, because no one saw the body cam footage when the story first broke, the pro cop side was like, this woman was going to throw boiling water on the cops. He had to, he had no choice. And there's been many issues, many times with these body cam footages where it does happen that way, where it's like the story first comes out and you're blaming the victim, and then you blame the cops, and you see the thing. What I'm thinking of, there's a woman that was stabbing at a cop before the body cam footage. They're like, you killed an innocent woman. And then you see like, actually this woman did stab at the guy, you get why he did it. Now, even on that, you're like, well, could he have just wrestled a knife from her and not killed? I don't know. Anyway, so footage comes out. This cop kills this woman, and I think that just got done in jail where he is found guilty of murder. So I do think that's about all you can do, I guess, is what it feels like. But it seems like you should be able to do more, because when you're giving cops guns and all these extra rights or privilege or whatever you want to say that they get in their job to just encroach on your rights, and then for them to kill you, it does seem like him just getting convicted of murder and going to jail himself does not seem like enough of a punishment. I do kind of think cops should be held at a higher, like maybe they automatically, if they kill someone, get the death penalty. So they take it somewhat serious, and I'm not saying cops don't do dangerous things many a times. And some people may even still see that video because the woman starts fucking doing prayers and shit. And so I guess if you want to be like Christian prayers are violent and threatening, then you could, he had to, but I mean, she's like doing prayer shit, like, protect me, Jesus sort of shit. So I guess he interprets that as like, she's doing all that because she's about to throw boiling water, which why would someone, I guess if they're crazy, I don't know. We can't start arguing over like why someone does something stupid, but, yeah, it's a pretty big deal. I just think we should hold cops to higher standards. Like, it's why I remember the Breonna Taylor issue when it happened back in the day. I really seemed to like disagree with a lot of people I knew, because those cops broke in this woman's house in the middle of the night and shot and killed her. Been the sort of pro cops I were like, yeah, but her boyfriend sold drugs. And when they kicked in his door in the middle of the night, he fired a gun at them. And it's like, yeah, but you're in America and you're supposed to be able to defend yourself if someone kicks in the door. And if it's, if it was a no-knock warrant, they don't know it's caught, like, you just set this person up to be murdered, and it seemed pretty obvious of the flaw. And to me, if you're the good guys, you should have to take the high road and go above and beyond to get things like that. Is part of being the good guys. That's why I'm against the ICE agents wearing the mask and ripping families apart. It's like, well, you're not. Go get the MS-13 gang members you talked about, but you're pussies. That's just kind of how I feel about it. All right, let's play a song. First song I'm going with is from the homie Sir Nasty, of course, from Graveyard Entertainment. And the song we're going to go with here is off of his new album that is still, at the time of this recording, I don't think it's his streaming site. So really, got to go to bandcamp.com, search Sir Nasty. The name of this album is Dealing With My Problems. It's my favorite Sir Nasty album yet, so it is a big bummer. And then he had they're posting some of his old stuff back up, and he had some issue with the one that went up today of our recording. So go follow him and stuff. But, sometimes the back end shit's a motherfucker. And, especially when you're like Sir Nasty or H2, these people put out so like huge discographies of so much music. A lot of stuff can get messed up on the back end, I would say. All right, That's How I Move. Sir Nasty. Check it out.
Your bitch blew a kiss at me and I caught it. I had thoughts of killing niggas and I fought it. Mask on strapped up, would've fought it. OG ain't been the same since he done turned 40. Yeah. I rap hard for my generation. I give a bitch weed and some penetration. Nasty. Give her a towel and a juice box. I drop 8 quarters in the jukebox. I done got into it with a few cops. Bandanas on my head like Tupac. I'm flirting with your girl like you stop. I took her to the mall, let her shoe shop. I said, fuck them all, this the new hop. I hopped out the bed in some new socks. This rap industry changing. Niggas say they rapping, auto-tune singing. Niggas say they slapping, they ain't even swinging. It's some real artists, shots out the aiming. When I say I'm coming, you know who I'm bringing. Jason Massey, this the gang that we banging. Your bitch blew a kiss at me and I caught it. I had thoughts of killing niggas and I fought it. Mask on strapped up, would've fought it. OG ain't been the same since he done turned 40. Your bitch blew a kiss at me and I caught it. I had thoughts of killing niggas and I fought it. Mask on strapped up, would've fought it. OG ain't been the same since he done turned 40. I told that young boy, watch your lip, kid. My white bitch got her lips and her hips dead. I got drink in my cup with the flip lid. And now I call a rapper out like Tip dead. I'm a G, ain't never been a pretty Ricky. 478 got the city with it. I bust on the bitch, leave a titty sticky. What the fuck? Sticky, icky. I told my girls, don't be them girls that I rap about. And we don't need no clout, we'll clap it out. My youngin' got beef, I said let's go. My neighbors know there's a killer living next door. I'm sipping on Hennessy XO. Your bitch sending me XO. What the fuck? Hugs and kisses. I be in the club, money, drugs, and bitches. I'm a cold nigga. Your bitch blew a kiss at me and I caught it. I had thoughts of killing niggas and I fought it. Mask on strapped up, would've fought it. OG ain't been the same since he done turned 40. Your bitch blew a kiss at me and I caught it. I had thoughts of killing niggas and I fought it. Mask on strapped up, would've fought it. OG ain't been the same since he done turned 40. Women love Chevy, hoes wanna holler but they brain not ready. Bad boy ride or die, I be shooting like Reggie. If his ass don't die, he a motherfucking veggie. Hold up. I wish that nigga would trip. I smoke him like a black and mild wood tip. All black Dickie suit, green chuck, green flag, that's hood drip. My shit not retro, but I was still a nigga bitch. I'm a klepto. Pyrenees mixing with Prosecco. Pussy real pink like Pepto. Come on, she got on high heel boots. Woo. Legs up, I'ma eat the fruit. Nasty. I'm in the car with hoops. She said don't come, I said oops. Your bitch blew a kiss at me and I caught it. I had thoughts of killing niggas and I fought it. Mask on strapped up, would've fought it. OG ain't been the same since he done turned 40. Your bitch blew a kiss at me and I caught it. I had thoughts of killing niggas and I fought it. Mask on strapped up, would've fought it. OG ain't been the same since he done turned 40. OG shit. Camp Crystal Lake, Jason Gang, Jason Voorhees, Black Mass nigga. Forever rest in peace, JB.
Sir Nasty with That's How I Move. One of my favorites off the album, to be honest. I love the sticky, icky part, of course. Lots of good lines in there. I will say, years ago, when I first came in contact with Graveyard, we became cool, came together. I kept making statements like Graveyard guys were a few years older than me. And then I think Soko one time made some sort of comment that was like, we are your age, or he was my age, or whatever. And I was like, oh, my bad. I thought y'all were closer to Snappy's age. And then on this song, he said since he turned 40, which I would assume means he is now 40 or 41, who knows, which is a few years older than me. So now I'm confused again about ages of people. Not that it matters, of course. But anyway, that's my issue with Graveyard. And also still working on music with it. Last night Skinny was over here and I was going through some beats because I had about 30 beats in my decision folder. I'm like, I gotta do something. So I started divvying them out amongst the homies that I send beats to, or decide if I'm going to put them on my beat store, things like that. Browsebeats.com, so check it out. And so anyway, I did set some aside for Graveyard. I know they got plenty. They're not in need, but I do have some set aside. And then I also let Skinny listen to all the songs I've started to send to Soko and Sir Nasty, and he was very hype about all the potential Sir Nasty collab songs. He was like, Skinny likes my shit generally anyway, but he was like, oh my God, there's so many good lines. And then, they all also are like me, clearly just trying to set up Sir Nasty. Like, I'm not trying to be the best, so I'm like, ooh, this will be perfect for Sir Nasty. So anyway, hopefully those happen. Something happens with Graveyard there. And then also, of course, have some solo stuff we're working on and some other collabs for a potential album. If I could just get to like 10 songs there, I'll probably just put something out. I need a name. For the next album, Normally I'm like very focused on like, this is the album, this is the sound, but I'm really just kind of taking it, as it comes. I'm not really putting too much thought, just kind of vibing, flowing with it. So, something eventually will inspire me, or like a song. I'll be like, well, just name the album after this song or something. And anyway, music update. There you go, everybody. Next, talking about some video games. Now I did not record any gameplay for any game, so that makes I feel like kind of fucked up there, because I know I'm sure people love seeing that. But I'll put up some pictures of the games I'm talking about here, because basically what happened was I beat Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles, which is I'm sure most people listening to this don't know, but Final Fantasy Tactics was a PlayStation 1 game that came out in 97 or something, something like that. And I always claim it's my favorite game of all time. And it is. It's still in my top 5, regardless of, what this game did. And then Final Fantasy Tactics: The War of the Lions was a remake they put out on the PSP that I probably played more than the PS1 version, just because I was really into the PSP, and I got it at a time in my life where, shit sucked. It was like I was really dealing with all kinds of struggles in life, and I was like, I'll just retreat into this PSP game. So I really put a lot of time into that one. And then I was really excited for this when it come out. But I will say there is something about a PlayStation 1 game in the PlayStation 5 era where I'm like, it is still a really good game. I'd still recommend it to anyone. But maybe some of the things that like made it special earlier on, because you're like, man, I can't believe they had all this stuff, or, it's got so much content. That really stood out back then. Whereas then on a PS5, you beat the game in 30, 40 hours, get all the trophies, do all the stuff. And there's a couple of trophies that took me a little extra time to go back and do, but I guess it lost a little luster in the remake, but I still loved it. I still thought it was great. And I think if you're comparing it to like when it originally came out, it's easily a 10, but I could see it being slightly less than that. In its remake, and the remake's better. It's still better than the original. It has voice acting, which is really good. Actually, you can see where they easily could mess that up, but it was pretty good. So anyway, I'd recommend it. I think it's only $40 or $50. It's on a full price game, so that's even better. So I did like that, but I didn't record much gameplay of me playing it because I was just in here vegging out, playing multiple hours a day. Anyway, really like the game. But then I had to move on. So here's a brief talk about some other things I've been playing. I have not found anything I liked yet. So that is the struggle that happens after you beat a game, is trying to find the next one that vibes with you. Now, I played this thing called Rocksmith Plus that I was really excited about. It was free, but it's not free. So, it's free to download, and you can do a couple lessons. So it's basically a thing that will teach you keyboard or guitar. And I've done this other thing called Melodics in the past that also requires a subscription once you get past a certain level, that does very similar, that'll teach you the keyboard. And so basically you get a subscription to this thing, Rocksmith Plus, and it will unlock all the lessons. But I did a few lessons of like playing the keyboard and, trying, it's like or Guitar Hero or Rock Band. But, for a MIDI keyboard, basically. I just really, I'm like, I guess because of my fat fucking shoulders and chest, it's really hard to get like my fingers like at the right spot on the keyboard where they're like, hold them here for this stuff. And so I did a few of them, and I actually got like above 90% on all the lessons I did, but it was kind of tough, and then I finally got to the point I didn't really have many free ones left. I was like, well, this sucks. I'm not going to spend $100 and something a year for the yearly subscription of this. But if you like, say you had a kid that really want to learn piano or guitar, because I know they had that one as well, and you can get onto it through a PlayStation or a computer, or Xbox probably as well, and all the other stuff. It's a really cool idea, but it was difficult, and I felt like, do I need a bigger MIDI keyboard? So I don't know. I was really struggling. Like my pecs were like on fire, just trying to hold my hands so close together. Maybe that's just because I need to work out more, I guess. So yeah, that one was a flop. And then I'll try this game called V Rising. I remember Brad Surex actually was a little excited about when it came out. Like he thought it looked cool. And that came to PlayStation Plus this month. And I was like, oh, I'll give that a shot. It's like a vampire game, isometric, looking like, 3/4 angle down. And I think you're a vampire going around killing people that aren't vampires. I don't fucking know. And then you build like a castle or some shit. I played that game I created the character and I was like, well, this looks really cartoony and not as cool as I thought it would. And then I played it maybe 2 minutes and it was so slow. And there's just something, and maybe I'm just a picky video game player, but there's sometimes like you just start playing a game and you're like, ooh, I hate this movement. Like the movement doesn't feel good. Nothing else will feel good for me. So I was like, I'm done. So I quit that. And then afterwards, I tried a game called Witch with a Gun, because this was the week of Halloween. And I was like, this is like looks Halloween-ish, and you're a witch that has a gun is the premise. And it's supposed to be, I think, a roguelike type game. And again, the controls were so bad. I don't know the movement, but like the left stick controlled where you ran, again, isometric angle. And then the right stick controlled where you looked. But again, you're not a first person. It's like, you don't need to do that. Like, that's weird. And then you hit R2 to punch. It just was so weird of a control. And I was really testing it out because my wife thought it looked cute and wanted to try it. And if she's going to play a game, I have to be able to be somewhat good at it because she's going to hand it to me to beat the bosses or whatever. Not all the time, but at times. And so I was like, yeah, this isn't good. And so I went ahead and deleted that before she could get to it. And now I've been on my PC on Steam debating buying this game called Ball Pit or Ball Cross Pit or Ball X Pit. I don't know how they do that weird X cross thing in video game titles. It's being recommended to me a lot because of previous games I've played. It's like, this is right up your alley. Everyone else that likes these games like this game. And I see it and I'm like, this doesn't look that good. It's like a take on a Brick Breaker, but it's a roguelike, and it's like there's hundreds of power-ups and so addicting. And I just watch, I'm like, it just doesn't look good, but I keep getting recommended. So it might happen. I might have to get it just off of the recommendations. And really, the only games I really get on a computer, they're going to be like less than $20. So it's never like a huge money sink necessarily, but I like to get some time out of them. I don't want to buy something and not put any time into it. So anyway, those are my video game adventures this week. Nothing too exciting. I wish I had more to say. I have a bunch of games put on that I've been downloading of like, I'm just going to go through these until one of them just clicks. I'm like, this is it. I feel like recently I heard of a game coming out sometime in the next month. And I was like, oh, that could be good. I should have got into Battlefield 6, but I didn't love the beta enough. It was fine, but I couldn't see anything. I think I need to go to the eye doctor and maybe get some glasses that I haven't worn in 10 plus years and get back into the glasses game. So yeah, I don't know what I see this game Arc Raiders. People are talking about that. It's like the next big multiplayer thing, but I'm not a multiplayer gamer, but there's part of me that wants to be. I want to be cool. I want to be online, getting the high scores and making the friends. But I don't think it's going to happen. I have been, since I normally do a little sports talk here in this general time frame of the podcast, it's been all NBA watching. I mean, it comes on about 4 or 5 nights a week with all the national games and then also local Thunder games. As you can tell from my attire, I'm all thundered up all the time now. The last season lasted so long because they won the championship that it almost feels like this is just a continuation of last season. They have almost all the same guys. We have a couple new guys added to the team, but I don't think we lost anyone is the word. And I don't know. It just feels like it's just last season. It's just continued, and that's fun. I have probably a lot of takes, I guess, on the different broadcasts. So inside the NBA, which was the TNT crew of Ernie, Charles, Shaq, and Kenny Smith, that were on TNT. They're now on ESPN, and everyone was worried the show was going to change, and it really hasn't. It is like the same show. They didn't ESPN it up with like too many commercial breaks and here you have 3 minutes, go sort of shit. But there is something about, they just seem extra whiny. Like Charles just seems whinier than normal. Shaq seems like he just doesn't care as much. Maybe I don't know. There is something that's a little off, but the show itself is still the same. I talked about with Skinny, but the NBA on NBC broadcast and how like the presentation is just so prestigious and it looks so good. And Mike Tirico's voice is so good as an announcer. Like they're pretty good. I'm trying to remember who their studio guys are. If I remember correctly, it's Vince Carter, Carmelo, and T-Mac, I believe, is like their guys. And I don't think they're great. To me, they're just three ringless guys. It's like three Charles, like you can't have three guys that didn't win. And they don't quite have their chemistry down. So that's a little awkward. And then ESPN, of course, like I mentioned, has those guys. And I guess Amazon Prime's the other one that has now national games. And their lineup is horrible. I mean, to me, their in-studio lineup, it's like Dirk and Steve Nash. Both of them are not good, in my opinion. And then Blake Griffin is very good. And then they have someone else, maybe Jamal Crawford or something. I can't remember exactly who the other person is. But they're like hit or miss, But Amazon's also gotten into the NBA game. So I'm just watching every night about 6:30 to 7 o'clock. There's some NBA game on most weeknights through these, I have all these apps. And I just put it on, and it's really increased my beat making. I knew it would, but I'm just sitting here. If I don't have a game to play, then fuck it. Let's open up a session, and we're making a beat. And so that's positive. That NBA and beats just go hand in hand for me. It's something about the bouncing of the basketball and the soothing tones of Mike Breen. So yeah, if you're needing beats, hit me up. You can be on my list as a homie that gets free beats. They're free, but like hit me up with a percentage. We're not doing this completely for free, but I was a rapper and I didn't want to pay hundreds of dollars up front for beats, so I get it. Also, hip hop's dead. So that just came out today. I think this week's the first time in like 35 years, whatever the number was, that there has not been a hip hop song on the Billboard Top 40. And I don't want to say it's Kendrick Lamar's fault, but there is something about like there's the big rap beef. They're like, it's bringing hip hop back. But then everyone wants to take it too serious where it's like, no, if you lose it, then you're canceled. We don't want to listen to you. And it's like you shit on Drake, who's like the number one hit maker, that kind of keeps the whole genre going in some way. And some would argue that's not real hip hop anyway. That's pop music, and no one's really listening to Jadakiss anymore, or whatever your definition of real hip hop would be. And there's probably some truth to that. But I do think there's something about the way the like hip hop blogger era, and also the way the hip hop, I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but in the 80s when hip hop wasn't as big and it was tied to more of like, it is black culture and black culture is hip hop. And then it kind of got like commercialized, and it's on like every McDonald's commercials, like a hip hop beat in the background or whatever. And then you go in that era, and then of course it's popular, and then it's like Eminem makes it popular for white kids, and then those white kids then find other artists they like and they're buying that music, and then no one's buying music or whatever. But hip hop's still a big deal during that. And now it's like through years and years of it's like, no, this is a black culture thing, and y'all are all guests. Maybe that has something to play where people are like, all right, if you don't want me to listen, then I'm not gonna listen. I'm sure some younger kids have felt that. I hate rock music. So people are saying rock music is going up on the chart. Like that's what the kids listen to is old rock music, not new rock music. And, that's great. And country, of course, is also good. But those are just two things I just can't. I mean, I'll find a song every now and then. I'm like, well, that's pretty good. But in general, I'm one of those like, it's like nails on a chalkboard thing when I'm hearing some rock or country. So I don't want hip hop to die. But it kind of is. And also, I think we have to somewhat blame the Juice WRLD, Little Uzi Vert, Playboy Cardi generation, whatever that era is. NBA Youngboy. I know people think they say it's a huge deal or whatever, but like none of that. And I'm just being a hater here because it's like the generation I quit listening to new stuff. And then I came back a little bit afterwards, but that's still that generation. I'm like, God, that all just sounds so bad to me. I don't think it holds up. I don't think the fans of that stuff are still rocking that. Whereas when I was like a fan of Lil Wayne, I was still like pulling out the Drought 2 or whatever. And I was like, here's what we're listening to today. I've probably fallen off a little bit on that as well. But the other day, No Ceilings 2 came on, just some random song on my play. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot the Lil Wayne mixtapes are on here. And then I had a fun day listening to that. So I'm still a fan, I guess. But I don't know. It is new hip hop, mainstream stuff. does seem to be dead at the moment. Now, I'm sure someone will come out with something and they'll be like, oh, that's cool. But that's not what they're it's not talking like one person. It's like the whole movement, if you will, is kind of, and maybe it's just because the man's not pushing it. You know, I do think a lot of people underlook the effect that probably a CIA or a whoever has on some of the popularity of certain things, you know. But maybe that's just conspiracy talk, you know. That's very likely. I love my conspiracies. All right, let's play our next song here. Next song we're going with is from the homie It's Your Boy H2 out of is it Milan? I don't know. I remember the city he's from. Let me know H2 in the comments or wherever. I don't, you know, just like I'll know it next time, damn it. Yeah, H2's always doing stuff. This is off of his album Bodies O Work. And the name of the song is Acute Touch. It is one of the longer songs we have played on this podcast so far. But it's cool. I need to go get a drink anyway. So while this is playing, I'm going to get me a drink. And y'all enjoy Acute Touch by It's Your Boy H2.
If we pull horse, full course with a brute force. Nah, homie, we ain't lukewarm. Just wanna hold this pen, it's like an acute torch. Ay, 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 take me back to popping bottle rockets when I pop on the front porch. Ay, 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 take me back to popping bottle rockets when I pop on the front porch. Ay, 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 tell them if we pull horse, it's full course with a brute force. Nah, homie, we ain't lukewarm. Cause when I hold this pen, it's like an acute torch. Ay, 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 take me back to popping bottle rockets when I pop on the front porch. Ay, 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 take me back to popping bottle rockets when I pop on the front porch. Ay, ay, ay. Maybe if I had to compare myself to anything else, then it'd be graffiti. Cause the whole damn world needs to see me. This boy here been teaching them like Feeny, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Spin the globe, but where you wanna go? We could go there, I'll even do a show there. Oh yeah, I'm so prepared to go bare with nowhere, no tear. Even ready to duck in case I make them throw chairs. Cause I'm nothing but an addict, even though stairs make me so scared to be up there and see unfair. People wishing you dare to even descend into the air just to freeze up there. Till you have to breathe, then you proceed to recede back to the bat like Bruce Willis hair. The will is there to kill despair and feel prepared to read and weep, cause what you read is rare. So I need you to get a grip on me by the lips, cause I'm starving my care just by eating a stare. I'm off my rocker, don't want a doctor. My mind's a tighter fit than a high school locker. It's a haiku opera, and these icy blues travel her up and down like John Popper. I'm up, and these icy blues travel her up and down like John Popper. I'm up, so climb up. And these icy blues travel her up and down like John Popper. Tell them if we pull horse, it's full course with a brute force. Nah, homie, we ain't lukewarm. Just wanna hold this pen, it's like an acute torch. Ay, 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 take me back to popping bottle rockets when I pop on the front porch. Ay, 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 take me back to popping bottle rockets when I pop on the front porch. Ay, 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 tell them if we pull horse, it's full course with a brute force. Nah, homie, we ain't lukewarm. Cause when I hold this pen, it's like an acute torch. Ay, 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 take me back to popping bottle rockets when I pop on the front porch. Ay, 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 take me back to popping bottle rockets when I pop on the front porch. Ay, ay. It's a wobble, but it's not, yeah, it's kinda how I rock. Cause I busted my ass to the bottom of the clock. That way I always arrive at the top. Cause everybody knows no one holds that spot. But I've had my moments where I've thrown in a lot. Cause I've thrown in a lot like my soul couldn't stop. Now I throw it in part like I left my throne alone in a lot. So Joe's folk could come waltz in and take it. Just strip me naked, I'll never make it's what they're saying. Just in a different language, shit's backwards, ain't it? No it ain't, but you better suck that shit in before I make you a backwards anus. Can't let them see you swaying. Even if you're changing, can't sleep today. And even if you're aging, keep your vision tight like you came from Asia's long bouquets that ladies' faces like hand grenades. Then show them who you came with. Be anxious for the days, the games, and no H is lame as for I'm off my rocker, don't want a doctor. My mind's a tighter fit than a high school locker. It's a haiku opera, and these icy blues travel her up and down like John Popper. I'm up, And these icy blues travel her up and down like John Popper. I'm up, so climb up. And these icy blues travel her up and down like John Popper. Ay. Tell them if we pull horse, it's full course with a brute force. Nah, homie, we ain't lukewarm. Nah, just wanna hold this pin, it's like an acute torch. Ay, ay, ay. Take me back to popping bottle rockets when I pop on the front porch. Ay, ay, ay. Take me back to popping bottle rockets when I pop on the front porch. Ay, ay, ay. Tell them if we pull horse, it's full course with a brute force. Nah, homie, we ain't lukewarm. Nah, cause when I hold this pin, it's like an acute torch. Ay, ay, ay. Take me back to popping bottle rockets when I pop on the front porch. Ay, ay, ay. Take me back to popping bottle rockets when I pop on the front porch. Ay, ay, ay.
Man, I just want to remind you how much I miss you. Every chance I get to just fit a little memory into a lyric, just to take people back. I love you.
It's your boy H2 with Acute Torch. I'll be honest, I'm guessing it's a firework, given the context clues there, but I still could be wrong. And or maybe it's a thing I should just know. They're like, oh, it's actually a welding terminology. But yeah, I really liked the part that was like, it was Josh Popper, or I don't know what you were saying there. I didn't understand the lyrical reference, but I liked the flow and the vibe of the song in that part. The hook I did like, but it was like a little, it felt like almost aggressive for the chillness of the people. I mean, it still works. I mean, you definitely pulled it off, but I just think that one part, I liked the vibes of that side a little more. But H2 always working on stuff. I actually sent him some beats. I sent him beats. I sent him some beats as well. Sound pretty good. There, eventually I might have to do a collab album with H2, put him on the list, but working on so many, but I know that one would get done, we're both pretty good at about getting verses done. So maybe someday be on the lookout. See, to me, it would be like this is an album and it's like this artistic vision or whatever, but the H2, it's just another project. He does so many. So we'll see. We'll see if something like that. I have not brought it up. This is just me freeballing or freestyling. I don't know. Freeballing kind of works, but it's funny the way it works. Speaking of the way that works, it reminds me of this thing I saw. I thought I put it on my list, but who the fuck knows? There was a Reddit post basically where someone has claimed that they thought the term bricked up meant constipated. And so they have been using it in that terminology and assuming that's what other people have been meaning for years. And then they had recently meant what it actually means, in case you out there, y'all don't know somehow. But bricked up means you have a very hard erection, So if someone turned you on, you're bricked up. And you normally use it in a comedy setting. It's something that probably doesn't have you bricked up. You're like, God, I'm so bricked up. And it's funny. But people, I guess, that's the way language works, because people will say like, I guess there was some commercial back in the day, the constipation medicine, and it was like they use an image of bricks in like the colon or some shit. So people are like, since then, I've always thought bricked up was constipation. And, I always like when funny linguistic things like that happen. Here's all my shit I still haven't brought up that I was going to bring up with Brad. Here's something random. This guy, Howard Rubin. Is he the next Epstein? That's what I wrote down. It was some guy that had a sex dungeon, and people were talking about his sex dungeons where he electrocutes people. And I figured Brad would like be into that sort of shit. He probably, electrocutes his testicles on camera from some shady website somewhere. Eventually, we got to talk about the UK bringing in mandatory digital IDs. I don't know enough about it, but I do see people talking about it. I guess my gut thought is like, if you have an ID in America now, which most people do, because you need it for all kinds of shit, they have that on a digital record somewhere. And then how is that not a mandatory digital ID? Like, what is different in this supposed thing? I don't know. It's like you all have an official Facebook account that's tied to something. I guess maybe it's different. But even then, like, don't use, I don't know enough about it, but it seems like one of those things where they're like, we don't want this. That's like a communist dictatorship. And you're like, actually, it's exactly what the world does right now. What are you talking about? Like, it's one of those moments where it's like people are doing this big, like, fear mongering, like, they're going to do this. I'm like, I think they already do it. I think y'all are late to being outraged. So anyway, people know about that. Let me know. And then, no need to bring up this Netanyahu thing. But my basic thought was just, why is the foreign leaders giving speeches to our Congress at all? That seems weird. It's weird, like a leader from another country comes in. They're like, let me talk to your lawmakers. It just seems awkward. It seems weird to me. Maybe people are like, no, it actually makes total sense. And again, right on the podcast, let me know. Let me know these things. I would love to get a handler that would explain this stuff to me. Yeah, wait a second. I've got a text from our homie Cam, and he needs a ride. Let me see how much. Yeah, I'll tell him, give me 10 to 15 minutes, and then I'll go get him a ride. I guess he is in a boot. Hurt his foot, broke his foot. Who knows? I hadn't heard from him in a couple weeks, so I was a little concerned, actually. I was like, I wonder what happened to that guy. All right, back to the list. Oh, I meant to mention those video games earlier. That new Pokemon game that came out looks so bad. There's two reasons why I would ever get a Nintendo product again, and I've been close. And that would be for Zelda or for Pokemon. I like both of those game series quite a bit, and Pokemon I would say a little more because I was the generation of Pokemon kid. It probably unlocked my autism or whatever. Just a little. I gotta quit making those jokes. But I was obsessed. I remember getting grounded from my Game Boy because I told my mom over breakfast, trying to share like a good child should, of like, when I was in the shower this morning, the water hit the shower curtain and it sounded like the Pokemon music. I was like, oh, how about you put the fucking game away? But yeah, I was pretty obsessed with Pokemon. I played all the way up through all the Game Boy Advance games, and then I didn't like the Nintendo DS when it first came out. My little cousin Shad got one, and I played some Metroid game, and I was like, I hate this shit. I don't want this. And so then I kind of fell off, got a DS way later when Pokemon Go came out, actually, and played a couple backlog games. But besides that, I've been out of the Nintendo thing. I had a Wii for 6 months, then sold it because people were still paying like top dollar for them. So anyway, Pokemon, the new one looks so bad. Like, it looks like a PlayStation 2 game-ish, like that generation, like just off looks and texture packs and the way shit's moving. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild because people are going to buy it anyway, and then people already make excuses like, yeah, but it does all this cool, fun stuff. And I'm like, Nintendo sucks. I wish they didn't sue Power World. I don't even play Power World, but it's like Pokemon is not keeping up with the times. Like, if anyone's seen the National Pokemon Geographic AI video account, it's so good. And it's like, that it should be like this. Like, they should make a realistic I don't know. I understand it's Nintendo and it's kid games. And people are like, that's not what they go for. But Game Freak is who actually makes the Pokemon games. It's a company. They have another game coming out that's like graphically so superior to anything they've ever made. You're like, oh, they actually can do this. They just don't for Pokemon. So anyway, fuck Pokemon. Oh, maybe I'm not going to get Cam. I'll text him in 10 minutes and see. If you're listening to this, Cam, this is why. And yes, you should have hit me up earlier and said 3 minutes before you got off work. Is Nick Fuentes mainstream-ish? Now, I see Nick Fuentes pop a lot. For years, he was like the anti-Jew sort of guy on the internet, for the incels, the kind of loser-ish guy that spoke for the incels on the internet. And I found some of his videos like entertaining and like that Alex Jones way, like this kid's crazy or whatever. But I really thought, and I'm not judging him for this, I thought he was gay. Like, I thought there was a whole thing about he had like a femboy era and he was actually gay. And that's what kind of was not the allure of him, but it made him kind of different in the space. And then I don't know if he is. So now I've seen some recently where people are calling him gay and then people are like, he is not gay. And I was like, oh, I just thought, I mean, I don't think it's an insult to call someone gay if they are, I don't know if it is if they're not, that's on them if they think it is. But anyway, Nick Fuentes, popping off. Here's let's just get into shit that annoys me as we wrap this up. The change of ASL. So when I was a child, as in like 12 years old, and the internet chat rooms and messengers existed, you would send someone ASL, typically with like slashes in between it. And that stood for age, sex, location. It was the go-to of like, tell me how old you are, tell me if you're a dude or a chick, and where do you live at. And then if those are three things that I like, we're going to try to sext it up or whatever the goal was. And, ASL was just a thing forever. Then I get to college, and one of the 2 college classes I failed was ASL, American Sign Language. Not because I couldn't do it. I probably could have learned it. But I had a friend die, and then I just quit going to class. And it was one of the couple that they just didn't let me, I couldn't drop it and like get a W. People know if you drop for a certain date, you get a W, which is answer withdrawal. And I just fucked around. And then also my teacher wasn't that good. And there was a girl in my class whose mom was deaf. And so the girl already knew it. It's kind of like when you take a Spanish class with a Mexican student and then they're just like, well, they already know it. This is bullshit. Like there was a lot of jealousy of this. Why is this girl even in the class? You could just test out this shit. And then like the teacher and the daughter of the deaf woman were just like sign languaging each other the whole time. And everyone else was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I quit going. So and it was a Tuesday, Thursday class. I thought you need at least 3 days a week to remember some of this shit. So yeah, anyway, ASL was that. Now ASL, they use it for as hell. Like I'm high as hell or I'm cool as hell, but they'll put ASL for as hell. It makes no sense to me. Just write as hell. I don't know. Or put AF for as fuck, because that's cool. But ASL for as hell annoys the shit of me as a millennial. I will say that. I had my first, man, I was talking all about Pokemon. It would have been such a good segment earlier, but I'm going to leave it just how it is like this. I had my first Mandela effect. Mandela effect. I think is actually what it's called. And people don't know a Mandela effect is like when you're like, when I was a kid, the Fruit of the Loom logo had a cornucopia on it. And now they say it never did because we changed dimensions. And I'm normally a big hater of this. All right. Because it's all based on the whatever collider in fucking Sweden or Switzerland or one of those fucking places. And they'll be like, no, and they turn that on and they explode the fucking particles together. It switches us timelines or dimensions or whatever. And then some people are like, and I'm special because I came from this one. And now we're in that one or whatever. And I think it's very dumb. I think it's just people misremembering things, typically. The Fruit Loom one, everyone remembers the cornucopia because that was a real thing. And they just lie about them saying they never had it. And then some people are like, no, Fruit Loops in my days was spelled like this and not like that. And Bernstein Bears. And, there's a lot of things like that. And I'm always, again, big hater. And then this week, I got hit with the first one where I'm like, God damn it, I switched dimensions. And that is with the spelling of the Pokemon Onyx. Onyx is a giant snake made of rocks that was in the first Pokemon game. And I would have bet all of my money and all my belongings in my life that it was spelled Onyx. Now, I also had a dog named Onyx, so in my mind, I would have named it after this thing. Maybe it was just random that I named my dog Onyx. And I spelled it with the Y, so I could even see someone like, we were just getting confused with your dog spelled it. But it's like, I think I would have spelled it the same way. Now, immediately what happens whenever you get hit with a Mandela effect is you go, well, let me look up some shit real quick. And if you look it up and it's people online will say, nope, it's Onix. And you're like, nah, well, maybe it is now. Maybe they change it for the modern games. But back in my games, it had a Y. And then you fucking go search for that. And it's like, nope. Back on the old games, it was an I as well. And then they'll be like, here's the old Pokemon cards with an I. And then you're like, God damn it, did I switch dimensions? Now, I didn't play the Pokemon card game. I didn't watch the cartoon. I just play the video games. So I'm not as like deep in this as some other people when I went down the rabbit hole that are like, no, I know, because I did all, I do have just video game experience. And I guess in the last week since I've realized this, I've even come around to like, listen, I could be wrong. I could just be misremembering. It doesn't hold that much weight over me. This isn't that big of a deal. But there was at least that first 24 hours, that feeling of like the simulation fucked up, the code got switched, and oh, y'all can suck my dick, like all that stuff. So, anyway, shout out Mandela effects. I understand what the feeling is. I don't know if I'm going to hold on tight, but I did hit up Brad Sir X because I knew his wife was a big Pokemon fan. And her first thought was she agreed with me, the why. And I think they looked it up and she's like, God damn, so I think she's in the same boat. So I don't think I'm the only one. So at least there's a few of us, but it is world altering when it happens to you, I will say. All right. The last thing I'll have on my list here, and then I'll be done, is, I mentioned a little bit last week with Skinny just about friends. And I mean, I've kind of felt bad, talking about like people that had accidents or dead and, they weren't nice to me. There's feel somewhat bad, but I'm just being honest, just talking how the world is. And one of the person I just had the accident, they'd have passed. So I've seen more people post some stuff or whatever. And something really stuck to me. And I've talked about it back in that a Patreon. We did special episodes. I did one all about best friends I had throughout the years. And so I've had a handful of people that, at the time I consider my best friend. And one of these guys growing up was this dude, Jonathan, who I've mentioned many times, I'm sure, on this podcast. After high school, we didn't spend any time together. We did our own. I didn't really hang out with anyone from high school once after high school. And I think I do realize, like, I think of people in high school as like better friends in that moment. Cause like, well, in that time we were, but to me, there's like a distinct, like once I moved, like it's a different timeline. Whereas in some of those people that still stayed around my hometown, to them, it's all the same timeline. You know what I mean? So they're like, so anyway, this guy died. And this girl who is a little sister of my friend Jonathan posts this thing of like, this guy was my brother's best friend growing up and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, I mean, I think it'd be me or my friend dude. Like there's a handful of people that I think would actually be considered his best friend. But they did hang out a lot together, like as young adults, like when I was in college. I was like, well, maybe, so I'm like, well, maybe I'm misremembering or whatever. And I took somewhat offense. This guy, he came and visited me when I was in college. It was like right after I first met my wife when she was just my girlfriend. And she told, she goes, oh, you're like one of, his best friends from high school. And he goes, oh, no, for best friends. And I'm like, well, you lived with me for like 6 months. Like you had, like you moved back and you couldn't live with your mom. And my mom let you live in our house. So like, I don't know, man, we're pretty close. So, some people just misremember things. And maybe I'm also like, maybe I wasn't as good of friends with all these people like I thought. To me, there's just certain people I think of in my past. I'm like, oh no, we were great friends. And even though we don't talk much now, they knew it and I knew it. But it is what it is. They don't hit me up. I don't hit them up. No hard feelings. And I'm like, oh, maybe I just wasn't as good. Or maybe the fact like I don't hit people up is like an issue. I guess not a real issue because again, none of it matters. But yeah, I don't know. Thinking back to friends, and then I even have friends in college that I'm like, I thought we were really good friends, but I haven't heard from them in so long. And so I'm like, maybe we weren't. Like it is really. I mentioned last week. I hit up Powwow. I'm gonna actually try to get him calling next week. We'll see if it happens. Just I've mentioned him so many times, and his favorite number's 2, so that's what we're gonna do. So I hit him up because you got to reach out, and and I hit up Skinny every week so that keep that friendship alive, if you will. But it is hard. It's hard as an adult, I think, to have the friends, and then. Maybe I'm just thinking too much about the, the past of like the elementary to junior high to high school age and different friendship and relationships. And you think they mean something to other people, but you just got to remember it's, and I'm saying this to myself, I guess, everyone has their own sort of memories. There's another guy I graduated with, and the way he remembers high school when he talks about it, I'm like that to me, that's not at all the dynamics or how it was or how people saw him or how people, but to him, that is the truth. That was his lived experience, if you will. And then what's so funny, he's really conservative. There's a very liberal girl I went to high school with who also the same way, like she remembers being bullied or being treated a certain way because of her view, where I'm like, I don't, they're both a little bit victims, in this story. And I'm like, I don't remember it that way. But that is their life. And then my last thing to tie these two people together is I'm one of these things I never forget. It's a dumb thing, so my brain works. But in 6th grade, I was on the academic team. I was other years too, but in 6th grade, I was on the academic team, and I remember being at a practice, and it may have been a real meet, if you will. But this girl in my class, when I was just talking about, she said something, and then she said, "Bite me," and I remember with every memory, like every cell in my body, I remember me saying. Not if you taste as bad as you look, thinking I was like, got it, right? And then I remember this other kid, the other guy who just been discovered. I remember him going, booyah, because that was like his thing for a while. He would go, booyah, all the time. And I remember this so well, right? And then, so that's 5th grade, 6th grade, something like that. And then in like 8th or 9th grade, somehow that conversation comes up between the 3 of us. And they both remember this kid made the joke. They said like the girl said the thing, bite me. And they think this other kid said the joke that I know, Mandela effect here, like 1,000% that I'm the one that said it. They didn't remember any of the booyah, that was out of their memory, but I'm like, I know, but he's like, no, I made that joke. And she goes, no, he made the joke. So like, what am I going to do? I'm like, okay, but like it's 2 against 1 here, but it's like, I know for a fact. And I still think about that about once a month, if not more, of like, God, I know them. And so there's something wrong with me there. Like who cares? And again, even now, I don't really care, but I do. I'm like, why are they lying? Why are they lying about this? It's all a conspiracy. I'm scared. I'm just explaining schizophrenia and how it starts. That was a big deal. My friend I mentioned earlier, he got schizophrenia in his young adulthood and stuff. So that also changed a lot of stuff. And I recently learned he's in jail, and I didn't know that until his sister posted about it. So I obviously aren't that good of a friend, but how do you even know if someone's in jail if you don't like live in the same town or talk? It would be like a hard thing to know if someone doesn't reach out. So anyway, maybe I should make an effort to reach out to I have my 20th year reunion actually is going to be in this May. And I didn't know I'd go to the 10-year one. So if they're doing one, I probably would. But I would like to be successful. So if anyone could help me out there in the next 7 months, I could use it. No, those are my thoughts. All right, we're gonna wrap it up here. I gotta play a song. I totally forgot I got to pick up. He actually texted me and said, "Never mind." But I'll redouble check with him. But anyway, the song we're gonna end on here is a song called "What's Wrong" by me, A2thaMo. Very fitting for my sad boy ending there. And anyway, "What's Wrong" is off of my album Retrograde. Came out last, when was that? July, maybe? Something like that. And you should go listen to it. It's very cool. Very cool indeed. Thanks for checking us out, and peace.
Woke up this morning like any other day. I had to wake and bake, can't do it any other way. Lace up my Nikes and I still wanna fit it. My dreams are in sight, think like I'ma go get it. Failure, forget it, it don't cross my mind. Success is all I want now and they say it takes time. So I keep jotting my lines and spitting these rhymes. I've tried, I'm fried, I thought it was my turn at least 16 times. Might block you, if your bitch ass hating, might stop you, shock you, if so call me rating. If you feel me, I might blow up like radiation. If there's weed in the building, then you know I'm in rotation. That I can't deny, got a love for the herb. Bitch, I'm through being fly, it's like now I'm back down to earth. I love this rap shit so much that it hurts. Shout out any gangsters, you know me, I'm just a stoner and a nerd. I'm like, hey man, what's wrong with you? I'll sit back and hit the bong with you, sing a song with you, help you ease your mind and relieve your stress. One puff at a time, they like, hey Mo, what's wrong with me? Just sit back and hit the bong with me, sing along with me, just try your best, and we won't stop smoking till there's nothing left. Get off the wax, you got it twisted like backflips. Being dope is automatic, get the picture, better graphics. Smoking dope, man, that's my habit. I'm higher than an addict, and I'm confessing in the booth more than a Catholic. That's just me though, my lungs are smoky like casinos. Developed an ego, cause rap suits be like tuxedos. Shout out to my amigos that stay slinging the weed, bro. Yesterday had an ounce, today almost zero, no weed. I can't imagine, so I don't let it happen. I'm rapping like it's my passion, my pants be look like Aladdin. No skinnies, dude, yeah, I'm sagging. I need the pockets for my zip. If you went there from the get, then you went there for shit. All the rest, fuck you. You out the click, you ain't coming back. How much this kills me? Go ahead and double that. Fuck with me, a dead end like cul-de-sacs. 2 middle fingers to the police, I'm home now. I'm like, hey man, what's wrong with you? I sit back and hit the bong with you, sing a song with you, help to ease your mind and relieve your stress. One puff at a time, they like, hey Mo, what's wrong with me? Just sit back and hit the bong with me, sing along with me, just try your best, and we won't stop smoking till there's nothing left.
Dead to the world, and it's only Tuesday.
Thinking about starting smoking cigarettes again, hot turkey today. Just for no reason at all. Pick right back up where I left off.